hello, good afternoon, and welcome to IntellectualRadio.com. I'm Miss B, so it's time for you to come into my garden. You know how we do it. I want you to find your place in the garden, sit back, take your deep breath, breathe in that good energy, and let it out. I need to breathe one more time today. Breathe it in, yes, and let it out. You've come into the garden that I'm hoping will help you nourish the buds in your life that may be sitting around and gathering a little dust. I want to talk to you about things that are not just important to me, but hopefully are important to you as well. Yes, please, don't go to sleep, but just take a moment and join me in the garden. I've got a few things to do today, but the first thing I wanted to do, I know last week we did some lyrics from a song, and if you remember, miracle that happened at my church, Power Circle congregation, and the young woman that, after being in a horrific accident, stood up and danced. Well, I didn't have the lyrics, so I want to give you some of those lyrics today so that you would know exactly why that young woman was praising the way she was. And I want to tell you something. That video that I did with Facebook Live, last time I looked, it was over 1,000 views. So there are a lot of people that were touched by that video. And it came from Kurt Carr's song, I've got so much to thank God for. Many wonderful blessings and so many open doors, a brand new mercy along with each day. That's why I praise you. That's why I give you praise for waking me up this morning. That's why I praise you for starting me on my way. I praise you for letting me see the sunshine. That's why I praised you through every blessing. Hallelujah. That's why I praise you. Of you that know that song know that as it gets going and by the time it gets toward those final verses, you are praising God with unabiding joy. And that's what that woman did that day. Now, everyone had a wonderful week, a lovely weekend. I'm going to tell you something. Summer, it's trying to get away from me. I think that summer in Chicago is one of the best. The only place that I know that I enjoy summer as well would be New York City. But Chicago is beginning to rival New York for me because all the things that they have in New York, we surely do have here. Been so busy, I haven't been able to keep up. I missed jazz at the DuSable this past Wednesday, and I heard from my folks that were there, and they said it was really good. And also, Avery Sunshine was at Progressive Church, and I missed that, and I love me some Avery Sunshine. But I did get to go to Black Mary's all-white set. She does this set every year, and it's more for those of us of a certain age and even older, and we were all decked out in our white. Time, she had a special performance from a group of young people. These were high schoolers, and they were from this organization called Step Alive. These young people got out there, and they were stepping, and they wore white. They were, we just sat there and we applauded. It was just really wonderful to know that everybody's not just doing, they do. These young people had their step on and they look good. And evidently, this is an organization that raises scholarship money. And one of the ways that they do this is having the stepping contest. And that's how Black Mary got to see the young people, because she was a judge at an event that they had at the South Shore Cultural Center. And she was so amazed and excited by them. She found out that if they could come and perform for us because she knew that we would enjoy them, and we really did. The way she loves young people and she takes them up under her arms and she promotes them. And this was just another moment that she had the young people out shining. I have to tell you, she told me a story. One of the young women was of the what I call the lighter expression. And when she came out, I was like, oh, okay, look at there. And right there with the rest of them. Told me that this young lady was from a foster home, that she couldn't find a home, and she was taken in by a black family. And look at her now. She's stepping in. She's their motto is step, step. Oh, let me get it right now. It is step, learn to live. That's their motto. And if you want more information about this organization, it's called step-alive.org. And the gentleman that brought the young people, his name is Stanford, but in the stepping circles, he's called Stan. And they operate out of the Southside YMCA. So if anybody's interested, if you've got some young people you might want to get involved or you want to help the organization, you can go to step-alive. Now, watching the young people, I was also watching us. And there was a gentleman that was sitting at the table next to me. And he was older, you know. And I've noticed that the crowd is getting older. But this man, he went out there with a woman and they did their dance. And then when he came back, she came over and said, you know, he can't remember stuff. But you put him out there on that dance floor and he don't miss a step. Not only that, I want you to know the gentleman danced two dances. I can't get my guy to barely get through one. So it always marvels, amazes, and just makes me happy to see my people, even though we may even be older, that we can still have a good time. And it gives me hope. That means I can have my step and groove on for quite a while, which I intend to do. Now, speaking of the older generation, and I'm actually speaking to my peers right now because I know that we're going through the stages of caregiving. And one of the reasons I've missed a few events is because I have people now that I have to go and check on because they are going through some challenges right now. One of them is a very dear friend of mine that used to work with us. And she has been alone for a minute because her husband has gone on, having her challenges. Out to Indiana to see her because her relatives live out in Indiana. She has no blood family in the city anymore. So if we wanted to see her, we had to. It's okay because that's my bud. That's my boom. She's a thankfully she's still feisty, ready to come home. The last time I saw her, she wasn't too sure if she was gonna make it home, but she's ready to come home. She's going through her therapy, and she said, "I don't care what they tell me to do." I said, "Just keep on going, because I'm going home." I said, "All right, that's what I want to hear." But I say this because I'm talking to all of those that have to take care of someone and to know that you have to also take care of yourself. A lot of times we get to doing for our loved ones, and at times they're asking us to do things, and we do it because we love them. It's a little wearing and it gets a little taxing. I know. But what I want you to know is that I know that there's nothing you wouldn't do for that loved one, but you also have to do it for you. To find that little time, that little space, breathe and take care of yourself. Find whatever it is that makes your heart smile. If it's some music, play your favorite music. For me, it's playing inspirational music. I love to hear my inspirational music because I love to hear the words that tell me that I'm okay, that I'm going to be fine, that the best is yet to come, that my future is greater than my past. Look in the mirror and smile and see the God in me. And all I'm asking is for those of you that are taking care of your loved ones, take care of yourself. Even when that time is out, you've got to still be strong. You've got to still have your joy. My dad used to tell me, don't let anybody take your joy. And I used to go, okay, Dad, sure. But I know what he means. You have to keep your joy in order to keep moving, in order to be the best that you can be for the ones that you're taking care of. So that was on my heart today because it is not easy. It's not easy to watch our loved ones go through the challenges that they're going through and to ultimately have to let them go. And as I know all too well, when they're gone, to be able to go and thrive without them. My brother posted a picture today in Facebook, and it was a picture of my mom and myself and my sister girl Pam. My mother, when she was in her 80s, we videotaped her doing a shave that she gave. She was in her 80s when she did this. And in this picture, she's sitting there on the couch at the school, very proud as she was. And I'm looking at her and I realized, I said, the legacy of McCoy Barber College on whose shoulders we all stand. And I know that there isn't a person that knew my mother that would not agree with us or with me, us, the family. You know what I'm saying. And now you can hear it in my voice. I'm getting a little verklempt, so I better go on to something else. Oh, I would like for you to tell me when you respond to my Facebook, I'd like for you to tell me some of the songs that uplift you, some of the songs that have given you joy, some of the songs that you like to hear when it seems to start to bother you. Uh, and then another thing too, when you look in the mirror, you know that Michael Jackson song, Look in the mirror and remember that old SNL skit, what I'm good enough? Well, I laughed at that years ago. But you know what? You should look in the mirror because sometimes we don't think we're good enough. Sometimes we look at ourselves and we go, oh man, I am so tired. Mirror and say, hello, God. I see you in me. I see you. I see that you see the best of me. And God, I'm going to do my best to do your perfect will. Just say that. Look in the mirror and smile at yourself in the morning instead of going, oh, God, look at me. I got all these bags. And I mean, there may be some bags there. But I tell you one thing, since I started meditating, I'm not as baggy. Put a smile on your face. Be happy. It's not hard. It really isn't. I know there are stuff that we are going through. We're going through it in the country, in your homes, in your personal life. I know that you have, but no matter what it is, you can get through it. No matter who it is, you can get through it. Somebody said on Facebook that they'd be doing okay, except that the family seems to keep them from staying up. Know that feeling, but it doesn't matter because you are the one taken care of. If you take care of yourself, taken care of, but you have to take care of yourself. You can't let anyone or anything take you where you don't need to be. Easier said than done, but it can be done. I'm a witness. I'm going through stuff, but that's okay because my God has made a way. There is not anything that I will not get through. There is not anything that will take me down so far that I will not get up. I got up before again. You cannot let your circumstance, you cannot let people take you where you don't need to be. Believe in yourself. Know yourself. Know, know that you are the one that is going to stand, and you will stand for everything that is meant for you. I have something that I want to read from you. I missed church yesterday because I was doing my visiting, but that was a church for me because I was doing something that I needed to do to some I love you around. So I'm going to read from what we call our PowerPoints for Prosperous Living. It's like a digest, a monthly digest that is put out at my church. And yesterday, remember I told you July is the month of understanding. So this is from yesterday. Understanding is a wellspring. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it. That's from Proverbs 16:22. When we decide that we need a change in our lives, realizing that what we have done in the past is not satisfying us anymore, we decide to change our ways of obtainment. That we must open up to God's understanding within to make that change. That's it, make that change. In this awareness, we open ourselves to unlimited ideas of source, and that will increase the quality of life as we work toward changing. It tells us that understanding is a wellspring of life, letting us know that when we are in a high state of consciousness, we lay hold to God's unlimited ideas of creative possibilities, health, wealth, and prosperity. As we become more in tune with God, we understand that God has provided us with everything. When we understand this, we realize that we have no limitations except those that we place on ourselves. Receptive to God, we are being told as we listen to our inner voice of spirit, already ours. It is already done, and so it is. And the affirmation, when you look in the mirror, should be, I will go within for my understanding. When we go within, when we get quiet, and that's very hard for a lot of us to do, but when we can get quiet and let the busyness of our mind settle, eyes that the answers that you start to get for the things that you think are the challenges of your life. One thing I told my friend when she started having, well, when I knew she had her challenge and I knew she was getting ready to go into the operating, I told her what we say at church. Every cell in my body is well. For her, and now every time I see her, she says, every cell in my body is well. And it is. They found no malignancy, whatever was there, a way to a recovery. And for someone in her age, that's good. On Sunday, my dear was strutting around with her walker, looking like her old self. So happy because the time that I had seen her before there, I was a little concerned. But God is good all the time. And He's not ready for my sister to go anywhere except home. She wants to get back to her house, and that's what she's going to do. When we come back, I'm going to share with you, you know that old saying, you can never go home again? It's not true. And I found it out on Friday. And when I come back, we will talk about it. And this is Coming to My Garden, and I'm Miss B on IntellectualRadio.com.
Take a real good look in the mirror. What do you see? Answer that question. Be encouraged to do something about it. Be encouraged to make a change in your life and your career goals by becoming a licensed barber. Do something that you've never done before, or something you've always wanted to do, or finish what you've already started. All of these things are possible at McCoy Barber College. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. If that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773-221-6700. That's 773-221-6700. McCoy Barber College, where lives change and careers begin.
I know I was talking a little more reflective in the first segment, but now I'm going to give you some news that is really uplifting for me. When I said, that old saying about you can't go home again, well, that's not true, at least not for me. Spent my formative years in Inglewood, so I call myself a Inglewoodite or Inglewoodie or whatever you want to call it. I am that, and I am proud of it. I lived on 68th and Morgan. I went to Parker High School. I went to Wilson Junior College, Kennedy King College. I worked at Kennedy King College as a performer, and I cut hair on 69th Street near Halsted in my parents' barbershop. With all that said, Inglewood, as we all know, has become bad boy, so to speak. Every time you look up, it looks like somebody's been killed in Inglewood. Well, it does have some problems, but so does every other neighborhood in the city of Chicago. No one is exempt. But, however, what I am here to talk about today is the Inglewood that is on the rise. Yes, my Inglewood is doing some stuff. There's some tricks going on in Inglewood. There's some life going on in Inglewood. People are coming back to Inglewood, then the people that are there are enjoy Inglewood again. And I at the Kusanya Cafe on 69th and Green. That place there is run by a young man who decided one day that he didn't want to work with corporate America anymore. He wanted to do something that he wanted to do. So he opened up a coffee shop on 69th and Green. Now, you say, okay, he opened up a coffee shop. Is that he is a young man of that lighter expression. And that coffee shop is booming. Good friend Giselle, who does the flowers, her significant other, Eric, decided he got an idea. And he started what is called the Sound Voyage. He finds musicians from around the city, local musicians, that are usually along the jazz rock vein. And he goes and he listens to them. And if they are the kind of musicians that he feels belongs on his sound voyage, then he asks them to come and play. And initially, they started playing at the Kusanya Cafe. Kusanya. Say that 3 times. Well, not only does it have good coffee, but once a month, it has good music. And for a while, he had a lunchtime series going on Wednesdays for just an hour, but you could come by the Kusanya, get some coffee, and sit and listen to some good music. Well, now he's having every other Friday at the Whole Foods grocery store on 63rd Street, just west of Halsted. He is having another Sound Voyage. I went for the first time this past Friday, 5 o'clock. And let me tell you what's happening over there in Inglewood. Now, they're having wine at 5 with some hors d'oeuvres that you ready? That they pair with the wine. This is in Inglewood now. We are pairing with the wine. So you get your glass that I have if you're watching on Facebook Live. And I found out that, as you can see, I could bring my glass with me. And it has Inglewood on the glass. Fancy. So you get to sample different types of wine, different types of reds, whites, and the pairings. They had Friday, they had salmon. They had, I think, some turkey. They had a cucumber salad with shrimp. They had chicken wings. And this is all around the store. Your ticket, and you walk to these different stations, and you get some wine, and you get a little hors d'oeuvre. And while you're doing that, the Voyage is entertaining you with some great music. This is in Inglewood, people. This is where everybody's scared to go. Well, don't be. I went and it was a lovely time. And I saw some people I hadn't seen in a while. Met some people, met a lady that was sitting at the table next to me. We started talking, and she found out that I was a barber because Suni from Powell's Barbershop that came here and spoke with us, he came in and they started talking. And next thing you know, found out that the son to a barbershop that are alumni of McCoy Barber College. She goes to Leverett's Barbershop on 79th and Morgan. And when I said, hey, those are our students. That's where they came from. He says, oh. I said, but that doesn't mean that you can't come to the affair. Now, when I talk about the affair, remember, July 30th, with my goodness, has come up upon us. It will be Sunday, July 30th. That's the Ceasefire Event. It's the Brotherhood of Barbers. You want to contact Mr. Powell, you can do that at 312-479-7125. I'm sure he would still be taking donations if you wanted to donate to the cause. The event will be on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 5. And as I have put out before, I am calling out all alumni to come out and show out so that we can make this a very successful event. And I might have a little surprise for you if you show up. I'm not saying what, but I might have a little surprise. So it is going to be at Ogden Park, which is at 64th and Racine. It's called the track area. And when you come, when they say the track area, it's like recessed a little bit. So you have to come down just a little slope, and we're like down in like the valley, so to speak. And there will be food. Okay. There will be food, music, and performances. And I'm told there's going to be a special guest. Now, last year we were there, and it was really a wonderful event. And my former students showed up. And one of the young men that I told you about that works on several television programs, he had his mobile haircut trailer there. So McCoy was represented very well, and I hope to do the same. Now, if you can come out, stop by and see me at the McCoy Barber College table, because we will have a table out there, and you can come out and check us out. Back to Inglewood. Inglewood has been going through its changes, and with the funding, the city's put out some new funding, and blessed to get some of that funding because it has been considered an area that needs more attention, and it does. But those of us that are from there and are there, we know that Inglewood is a lot healthier want to give it credit for. I just wish that the news would put more attention on the things that are going well as opposed to the things that are not. And I know that there needs to be some attention placed on that, but at least give us as much attention with the things that we are doing well within the community. The Kennedy King College has moved and is taken over 63rd Street, and it's like the beacon of 63rd and Halsted. Now you've got the Whole Foods, you've got the restaurants that are coming up over there, and it's inspiring. It really is inspiring to me to go back home and see how it's picking up. And I know if you go a few streets down, it may not look that well, but that's okay. When you start to bring pride back to your community, it can start to spread. I keep telling you, it's all about a thought. And once you start putting the thought out there that everything is whole and healthy and complete, then you'll start seeing whole and healthy and complete. And that just doesn't go for Inglewood, that goes for everything in our lives from the top down. And we know that there's stuff at the top that needs some serious thought changing far to the top. Let's just go to our state. We need to put some serious thought out for our state government, because they seem to have forgotten that there are people out here, the the very things that they're sitting around on their hands with. Our state is not in the best condition at all. And when no one can talk to anyone, that's a really sad state of affairs. And I am one of those that believes there should be some term limits on the people that sit in our government in the state. It's it's not good. Sometimes I think everybody just ought to get up and go down to Springfield and just say, "Look at here," because our children are being hurt when we can't get the funding that we need for education, and the education in Chicago needs so much help, so much support that it's I'm supposed to be uplifting. I'm uplifting people that were dancing, because that's the kind of things that we want to see. I know those of you that know me or have been around me that went to school during the time that I went to school, not something that you find in schools anymore. Art isn't something you find in schools anymore. They still have a little music, they still have a little sports. Things that make us great, they kind of want to back away from that. I don't know why. Maybe I do, but we won't go there. That's why we got to have those thoughts. We got to have those thoughts that said, look, every cell in the body of this community is well. All that we need is here. All that we are, and we can bring about. Because ultimately, that's what has the power. If we sit around, remember, we had a mayor, Harold Washington. Nobody thought that was going to happen, not in Dalytown, USA, for the better part of my life with only one mayor, and that was Richard J. Daley. I thought he was mayor for life, and he would have been if he hadn't had a heart attack and gone on. But even with that, it took a minute, but it took a man like Harold Washington. Do you all remember Harold Washington? I loved me some Harold. And the first time he won, I wasn't even in Chicago. I was in New York. I was in the control room at ABC when they announced it, having a happy good time. But I was here for the second time, here when he passed. That was one of the hardest days in this city's life. But that doesn't mean that there can't be someone or some others that have the same the Herald did, that have the same power as a King did, as a Malcolm did, as a Rosa did, as a Harriet did. We are a people, no matter what you say about us, no matter what you do about us, there's always that bud in that garden. There is always that bud that will bloom and that will say and do things that will be above and beyond anything that we've seen before. It's not going to stop. There's always going to be someone somewhere. Is it me? I don't know. Is it you? I don't know. But they're there. Is it that child that you're raising? Other that just needs that extra push to get over. There's so much wealth out here in the spirits of us. There's so much love out here in the hearts of us. All we have to do is to start thinking and tuning into it, and we will start to blossom and bloom like no one has ever seen. Well, I won't say seen before because we've done it before. I think we're kind of in a latent period. We've forgotten the power that we really have, and the blood that survived to be where we are. There isn't one of us out there power to connect with someone else who has the same thought, who has the same idea that we need to grow and nourish and become all that we were meant to be. I'm hoping in the near future that I can bring the broadcast to the school so you can get a flavor of where I am on a daily basis. That's my dream, and I'm trying to work it out, and I think I am going to work. No, I'm not. I am going to work it out. I work it out. I'm going to get ready to close today. This is a shortened broadcast, but I'm going to get ready to close today. But I want you to know that wherever you are in your life, there is nowhere that you cannot be. Whatever your health is in your life, there is no health that you cannot have. Whatever your pocketbook says in your life, there is no reason, because all you have to do is to say, God, you've got this. You've given me everything that I've ever needed. To me, you have the breath to breathe. And that's first and foremost. Everything else, if you've got a mind to hear and listen and understand, start using it to think it through and think it out. Think out every cobweb that you have in your life. Watch the changes. I promise you, if you just let go and let God, things will change, and they will change for the better, because that's what God is. And only the best is good enough for you. Thank you for being with me today, for coming into the garden. I'm Miss B, and this has been brought to you by IntellectualRadio.com.
Take a real good look in the mirror. What do you see? If you cannot answer that question, be encouraged to do something about it. Be encouraged to make a change in your life and your career goals by becoming a licensed barber. Do something that you've never done before, or something you've always wanted to do, or finish what you've already started. All of these things are possible at McCoy Barber College. The barber industry needs sincere individuals who want to become licensed barbers. If that's you, visit McCoyBarberCollege.net and see how you can change your life by becoming a licensed barber. Or if you prefer speaking with a McCoy advisor, give us a call at 773-221-6700. That's 773-221-6700. McCoy Barber College, where lives change and careers begin.